drops unloaded. I got 2 in there.
Okay, we're ready?
And then all right, go
Okay,
ahead. Yeah.
we're all here?
Yep.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dick Orleman with Lehigh County. I'm from the government. I'm here to help you. So we are, as a county, pleased to sponsor the Lunch and Learn session this afternoon. And we're very glad to have representatives from the Keystone or Goodwill Keystone area with us to talk about the power of employment in your recovery. So I'd like to introduce Chris Stout, who will then be introducing the individuals who are here from Goodwill who will be participating in the presentation.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So yes, my name is Chris Stout. I am the Director of Community Engagement and Mental Health Services for Goodwill Keystone area. And I am happy to be joined here today by some of the members of the Clubhouse of Lehigh County. So we have Elizabeth Miranda Pastrana, Elaine Papziak, and Bryce Greenwald, and they're going to share some of their stories here today with us. So give them a round of applause quickly. You guys can sit and then, all right? Let's have a seat. Here we go. All right, so I have had, let's see where I was going to start. I've been blessed to work alongside individuals who are rebuilding their lives for many years now. People whose courage and perseverance remind me every day that recovery is not only possible, but it is powerful. And one of the most consistent transformative forces I've witnessed in that process is employment. And I want to stop for a second. I want to apologize. I'm going to cough and I'm going to be sniffly. I'm getting over a cold. So bear with me. I'll do my best. Today, we'll explore how employment supports recovery, not just financially, but emotionally, socially, and spiritually. We'll look at the evidence, the human stories, and most importantly, the hope that work can bring. When we talk about recovery, we're not only talking about the absence of illness or addiction, we're talking about rebuilding a meaningful life, one with purpose, connection, and self-direction. Recovery is about hope. It's about reclaiming agency, about rediscovering one's identity beyond a diagnosis or a difficult chapter in their life. Employment fits directly into this. Having meaningful work allows people to say, I am needed, I contribute, I belong. That's what recovery looks like, reclaiming the belief that life is worth living and that you have something to give. Employment does far more than provide a paycheck. It creates structure, stability, and gives people identity. Think for a moment about what happens when someone loses their job. Not just the income that they lose, but they lose a sense of purpose, the social connections that they had, the rhythm of their day. Now, imagine someone who's already navigating mental illness, trauma, or addiction, trying to rebuild that sense of worth. A job can bridge that a job can be the bridge that connects recovery to real life again. And research supports this. Studies show that people living with serious mental illness who gain employment experience higher self-esteem, improved symptoms, lower rates of relapse, lower hospitalization. Employment reduces isolation and increases independence. But most importantly, it gives people hope. Hope that they can build, grow, and thrive once again. This mirrors the philosophy of one book that I really love to read, Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad, where he emphasizes the idea that the more you learn, the more you earn. This reflects how skills gained through work contribute to recovery, enabling individuals to thrive beyond their past struggles. And with that, I'm going to introduce our first speaker, or I guess I'm our first, one of our individuals from the clubhouse, Elaine Papsiak.
Hi, I'm Elaine Papsiak. I've been a member of Clubhouse for about 3 years. I work, I'm sorry, I'm very short. I can't see over this thing. I work for both Beata Home Health and also PeerStar, which is a certified peer specialist agency. When I was 18, I had just graduated high school. I was very lost. I was very depressed. I'd struggled with my mental health my entire life. And at 18, I was basically shut down. That is when my sister Karen stepped in. She actually set up a job interview for me with the company she worked for, a human services company that's now called LifePath. She drove me to the interview. She did most of the talking. And basically because of her, I got a job. I started work in LifePath's early intervention program. And let me tell you, within a week, I had fallen in love with every single child there. I was told not to get attached to them. The children were very sick, they said. Actually, most of them did not live to adulthood. But my heart was gone to them. It was just, those kids saved my life. To this day, I can tell you most of their names. Slowly, I began to come alive. I had a purpose. I had a deep joy. I had so much love to give. And that was the start of my working life. And most of my time at work has been spent working with people. I spent 10 years at LifePath, both in early intervention and in group homes. And my heart was always in pediatrics, though. I always very much loved children. And in 2008, I got my CNA. And I started working with Beata Home Health. And Beata was the first job I had that worked with me regarding my mental health issues. They were very generous with me, giving me time off whenever I needed it. Not once did I ever worry about my job with Beata in regards to my mental health. I really and truly believe that most workers who struggle with their mental health have encountered a lot of prejudice and mistrust from others in the workplace. I heard comments ranging from, why would they let anyone who sees a psychiatrist be near children, all the way to, our supervisor thinks you're unstable. If you make any mistakes, she's firing you. I learned to be a perfectionist, doing my job flawlessly. It was extremely stressful. Beata was the first job I had where I could take a breath. I know that I was supported, I wasn't looked down on. I cannot stress enough to the employers in this room listening today how important it is to support one's workers. Knowing that Beata had my back made me work harder. It made me a better employee. It made me a happier employee. And I've been with Beata now for 17 years, most of those years in pediatrics. 2 years ago, I hit a rough spot, a very rough spot. I had to report one of my families whom I worked with. It was devastating. It destroyed my soul, actually. For the better part of a year, thanks to Beata, they allowed this. I was on partial unemployment. I could no longer work with the family I reported, obviously, and I was too devastated to start over with a new child. But I healed slowly. It took a partial hospitalization and a lot of therapy, but I started part-time work with a young adult. I adored her immediately, and her family was so sweet and so gentle. It has been such a healing experience to me to work with that family and their daughter. And I'm still with her, actually, still part-time. Beata completely supported me throughout this entire journey. And I will probably work with them till retirement in some capacity. And during this terrible time in my life, about 2 years ago, a Clubhouse member encouraged me to get my training to obtain my Certified Peer Specialist certification. And I am actually really terrible with any kind of schooling. So I was very nervous. I was petrified, but I did it though. I got my certification, and now my job is as a Certified Peer Specialist with PeerStar. And the good people at Clubhouse of Lehigh County supported me this entire time. They corralled my runaway anxiety. They listened to my panic and told me to keep doing it anyway. they cheered, they literally cheered when I passed. And our own clubhouse director, Ronnie Nace, who isn't here today, unfortunately, he was my first boss at Peer Star. He was the one who got me started. I will be forever grateful. And working as a peer specialist has taught me so much about life. It's taught me about everything, about myself. It has given me confidence and taught me to be more assertive, which was a quality I always lacked. I have been with them now for almost 2 years and continue to stay with them long term. And working has allowed me not only to take control of my mental health, but to empower others living with a mental health diagnosis to do the same. It's helped me grow. It's helped me flourish. I've gone through hell with my depression and my PTSD, all the crazy symptoms I experience. I always had to get up, though. There was always a child, always a differently abled adult to be with. I had things to puzzle through, things to figure out. It kept my mind active, it keeps my curiosity endlessly going, and my life is very full now. Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine. I really appreciate your willingness to share your story. I know it's not the easiest thing to do, to share, those hard times. But we need to do that as a group like this today. We need to share our successes. We need to get better at that, because your story, I hope, is going to inspire somebody in this room to try to go out to work, to challenge themselves, to overcome something. So thank you very much, Elaine. So I'm going to break down how employment contributes to recovery. And there are 6 main areas, and I'm really going to focus on one of them because I think we're in dire times in relation to that, but I'll get into that in a second. So the 6 main areas, the first is identity. Work gives people a role beyond their illness. They move from being a patient to being an employee, to being a colleague, to being a mentor, to being a friend. It gives people self-esteem. Success at work builds confidence and a sense of accomplishment. It gives people structure. A job creates routine and stability, which supports mental wellness. And then the one that I'm going to focus on a lot is connection. The workplace combats isolation by providing social interactions and belonging. It also, and this is the most obvious one, it gives us financial independence. Income reduces stress. It allows people to make choices that support wellness. And it gives people hope. Perhaps most importantly, employment fuels hope. It allows people to say, I have a future. Each of these elements reinforces recovery. It's a feedback loop of progress and pride. As I mentioned Robert Kiyosaki before, he says your boss may be paying you, but the education that you get from a job is worth far more than a paycheck. So I mentioned I'm going to talk about connection, and this is an area that I've kind of been deep diving into for the last couple of years, and talking about longevity of life and how it relates to connection, and I'm going to bring that back into employment. One area that deserves that deeper dive is connection, the relationship that employment can foster. I did some research into the blue zones, and I know we had some people in the Lehigh Valley doing the blue zones. And for people that don't know what a blue zone is, it's a region where people live significantly longer than others, such as Okinawa and Sardinia. There are a couple blue zones, throughout the world, and generally these places have more centenarians, people that are living to 100 years old or longer, and they have more of these people than anywhere else. And in my research and in my dabbles and on sometimes my personal time, I found that it highlights the importance of a strong social ties in promoting health and longevity. A study shows that individuals with robust social connections have a 50% greater chance of survival compared to those with weak connections. In Japanese culture, the concept of moai illustrates this. Lifelong friendships that offer emotional and financial support are foundational to a healthy and fulfilling life. Communities in the blue zone groups thrive on communal activities that enhance social bonds, encouraging not only connection, but active living. And work can be this. We make connections, we can make friends, we make colleagues by going out to work. And it doesn't have to be friends and colleagues either. We're just having those connections. Maybe, as a cashier, the interactions that you have with your customers. But these connections are so important to what we do. The opposite side of connectivity is loneliness. And I'm forgetting to change my slides. So I probably missed a couple slides here. Connectivity and loneliness are two sides of the same coin, emphasizing the importance of social relationships for mental and physical well-being. The consequences of disconnection are severe. According to the U.S. Surgeon General's 2023 advisory, loneliness increases the risk of premature death by 26 to 29%. The statistic serves a stark reminder to how vital social connections are to our well-being. So don't panic. Please don't go home today and say, oh my gosh, that guy up there at the Harvest Full of Hope conference today said I'm going to die because I'm not socially connected. That's not what I'm trying to tell you. I just want to talk about the importance of that connection. We're living in this time where we're more connected than ever before. We have phones and we're chatting on Facebook and we're posting, but people feel lonelier than ever before. So I think it's something very important to bring out and talk about. And when I think about this, I talked about the two sides of the coin. I like to think of it as a plant. Many different kinds of plants and all different kinds of needs for each plant. So you put that plant in the window and it gets the sunlight and it looks great and it looks strong. And then if you're at my house, nobody waters the plant for a couple of weeks. And what happens? The plant starts to wither. It needs that connection, just like we need that social connection. And then I write on our whiteboard for me and my son, water the plant. And what happens? I water the plant. And then tomorrow he waters the plant. And then the day after I water the plant again. And all of a sudden the plant isn't doing well again because it has too much water. And there are times when we have too much social connection. All of us are different. That connection, that need for connection is a continuum, and it's different for every person. And I think we need to do a better job individually at recognizing when we don't have enough connection, when that plant needs water, and seeking that out. And employment is a great opportunity. It's a great place where we can do that, and you can get paid for it. So there's nothing better than that, to get a paycheck and socially connect. It's very important for us. In our own workplaces, fostering friendships can lead to higher job satisfaction and productivity. The American Survey Center reports that 26% of coworkers consider a close friend essential for their work environment. Investing in workplace connections can not only benefit organizational health, but can significantly enhance personal and collective recovery journeys. In his 2025 book, Why Brains Need Friends, The Neuroscience of Social Connection, neuroscientist Ben Rain writes, "Our brains are wired for connection. We're not soloists, but symphony players." He reminds us that humans thrive when we belong. Rain also explains that socialization increases the risk of death by any cause, showing that disconnection isn't merely emotional, it's biological. When we lack social bonds, the stress symptoms of the brain remain activated, leading to higher cortisol, inflammation, and anxiety. So it's very simple if we think about it. We think about our ancestors and what was work back then. They were hunters and gatherers. If you were out on your own as a hunter and gatherer, and you weren't going to be doing really well, trying to hunt for food on your own, so you were going to be stressed. Your body was going to stress. You were going to get that anxiety, and now we're learning that it's causing inflammation in our body. If you were hunting in a group of people, you were more likely to succeed, and you were more likely to eat, so that stress level was going to go down, and that same biology is in our system today. So when we are isolating, that's what we're doing to ourselves. So it's very important that we get out there and we socialize. And like I said before, we're living in this time, and I almost remember to check my slides. We're living in this time of the loneliness epidemic. There is an epidemic right now of loneliness, despite all of the connectivity possibilities that we have. So it's important that we continue to connect. So Rain uses a beautiful metaphor in his book when describing everyday social interactions. From small talk with baristas to deep conversations with friends, our moments together collectively make up our social diet that feed your brain. That phrase, social diet, perfectly captures why workplaces matter. Employment gives people opportunities to feed their brains with human connections, belonging, and meaning. And with that, I'm going to introduce Elizabeth Miranda Pastrana to come up and share her story.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Pastrana. I have been a member of Clubhouse for years. I did not go until I got married. My husband's a member of Clubhouse too. I started going at 2009. Clubhouse helped me get through hard times in my life. Clubhouse helped me to get through hard times in my life that I struggled through. They were very supportive. When my parents passed away and my husband was away from me for a while, he was dealing with his own struggles in life too. I needed to get on my feet and take care of myself by working. I always had people taking care of me in the past. Now I have to fend for myself. I work as a sales associate at Goodwill thrift store since November 8, 2019 until now, and growing strong as the years go by. My job description there is working at the cashier and hanging up and pulling clothes, cleaning and stocking items on the shelves. Before then, I was on Lehigh Street as a clerk/receptionist, answering phones, filing, faxing, and printing. Then COVID came and that job was not available anymore. They sent me up hanging donated clothes for resale for other stores. Then after that, I went to Goodwill thrift store and started my journey to success. My first job was at Goodwill. I never worked before and I was scared that I could not do it. Without the help of Clubhouse, who supported me by telling me, "You can do it," I would not have made it. Their encouragement was a big help. Clubhouse is a place to go to get away from all the stress in life. We are not just members in Clubhouse, we are like family. We spend holidays together, and that's a good thing because some people don't have family, and it's good to know there is someone who cares to spend time with them for the holidays. In Clubhouse, staff and members work together to keep the Clubhouse running smoothly. It gives members meaning in life that they can contribute to do something good in Clubhouse by volunteering. Clubhouse is a work order day. We work there to keep it running smoothly throughout the day. For example, we keep the Clubhouse clean, prepare lunch, operate the snack bar, CLC video editing, orientation tours, marketing presentations, community outreach, publishing a monthly newsletter, data entry, billing, fundraising, locating resources, and they provide access to online education that cover a broad range of economics and so much more. Clubhouse is a place for people with mental illness to go to. I recommend people to go there for support. It is a place to get away from their problems and to get to know people who have similar problems that will understand you. It is a home away from home. Clubhouse did a lot of help for me to get through everything in my life that I had a struggle with, and it just helped me on my path of recovery, because without them, I wouldn't be able to succeed in my life. They had helped me a lot. Bye.
Oh, maybe we're not going to change anymore. Thank you, Elizabeth. We appreciate that, and again, I know it's not easy to get up here and talk in front of a group of people, but Elizabeth said, and I don't know if you caught it, but she's been working for 6 years for Goodwill at this point in time, so we're really proud of her for that. When someone begins working again, something profound happens inside of them. They move from being the one who needs help to being the one who offers help to coworkers, to customers, to their family. That sense of purpose is healing. Purposeful work grounds recovery. It reminds people that their story isn't over. It's just entering a new chapter. Whether someone is washing dishes, coding software, planting flowers, or the cashier at a Goodwill store, what matters is that they are contributing. That contribution becomes medicine for the soul. A quote by one of my friends, it's really important to me and has resonated with me for years, and it's really it's made a big impact on me. And he says, "I'd rather work for free if I'm learning something than work for money and be unfulfilled." We can each play a role in that. This statement resonates a growth mindset. It's not about going to work solely to make money. It's about going to work to change my life, to recover, to improve, to meet your goals. The impact of employment on recovery doesn't just happen on an individual level. It's also about community. Recovery-friendly workplaces can change lives. Just like so can churches and civic groups, employers willing to say, yes, we hire people in recovery. At Goodwill Keystone area, we've seen this firsthand. When someone comes to us ready to re-enter the workforce, we don't just see a job seeker, we see potential. And when local providers partner with us, they aren't just fulfilling their positions, they're changing people's lives, they're changing trajectories. Every time an employer takes a chance on someone rebuilding their life, they help rewrite a story from despair to dignity. Community connection is powerful. As neuroscience shows, connection literally protects health and extends life. When we create systems that foster belonging in workplaces, in clubhouses, in neighborhoods, we're not just supporting employment, we're saving lives. And with that, we have our final speaker here today, Bryce Greenwald. Come on up, Bryce.
Is work a positive or negative influence for people with mental disabilities? I'm going to talk briefly about some of my own work history while suffering from mental disturbance and tell you some of my story. In about 1999, at age 25, I was diagnosed with a mental disorder. Without telling you my diagnosis, I will say that it was shortly after being diagnosed that I began to hear voices. Despite hearing voices, getting little to no sleep each night, and running my mind internally almost nonstop, I still maintained employment and attempted to deny that this was a humane or logical way to earn a living. I was really struggling and coping with something that many people cannot or will not even try to understand. I ran away from my home 2 or 3 times in an attempt to start over, but the voices never left me. I was hospitalized 2 or 3 times, but never grew a full understanding of my disability. It wasn't until 2004 that I ended up in a step-by-step program. You see, all that time, I had also been using drugs and alcohol to cope with my problems and also as a social outlet. In this step-by-step program, I had to quit drugs and alcohol cold turkey or find another place to live. I think that is what made me better off than most others in the program. I'd actually quit drugs and alcohol. I have refrained from using drugs ever since. However, alcohol I began to imbibe 7 years later, but manageably. In the step-by-step program, clients are required to do a certain amount of volunteer activity each week. My time was spent at the clubhouse of Lehigh County. It was here that I began what I call my second quarter of work history. In the first quarter, which was reached at about 25 years of age, I had worked for over 20 different companies in the Lehigh Valley, from short-term, temporary, or seasonal. In the second quarter, I would begin what is called transitional and supported employment from the clubhouse of Lehigh County. Transitional employment is employment availed by the clubhouse, which mostly has clubhouse staff working side by side, training you every step of the way. Or if you are higher functioning, they will let you have more freedom to fulfill your own agenda. In supported employment, you can still rely on clubhouse for support However, you will now be an employee of that company. While I attended the clubhouse of Lehigh County, I participated in approximately 6 transitional and supported employments. They included the Goodwill Work Services on Lehigh Street, the Ritz Barbecue, AmerisourceBergen in Bath, and the Goodwill store in Whitehall. This work satisfies 9 years of work of the last 20 years as a member of Clubhouse. All the other time, I mostly spent participating in the work order day at the clubhouse. In my deepest conviction, I would testify that while working, I always felt mentally and physically at the best of my well-being. The reasons are simple. While working, I tried to get to bed and wake up at the same time each day. While working, I valued my personal time more. While working, I had more money to budget my needs. While working, I got to exercise my body and mind. It gave me confidence, it gave me structure, it gave me something to do so I would not isolate and hear the voices. At the Goodwill Work Services, I worked with people with mental and physical disabilities. I learned more about what being human actually meant. At the Ritz Barbecue, I learned routine and how to be humble while my job title was dishwasher. At AmerisourceBergen, I learned the essence of team and relied highly on everyone to finish the required job each day. At Goodwill, as a donation service representative, I learned there is never an end to the donation line. I learned patience and how to give 110% effort every shift. In all these positions, I was a member of the Clubhouse of Lehigh County and acquired the position as either transitional or supported employment. I must have shown Goodwill and the Clubhouse I was a reliable and hard worker because as of December 31st, 2024, I began my new position as staff member / generalist of the Clubhouse of Lehigh County. Everything I learned as a member and all the job skills I acquired finally paid off. I am now mentoring and showing the ropes to old and new members alike, same as when I was a member going through the learning process. With hard work and perseverance, I did not let my mental condition get the best of me. After 21 years, I now feel a part of something bigger. For myself, work truly is a positive influence.
Awesome. Thank you, Bryce. I had some great pictures here. I keep forgetting to hit these slides. I had some great, I had some great Bryce pictures. I had Kimmy up there too. I like the first picture of Bryce when he's driving the forklift because I always wanted to drive the forklift there, and they will never let me drive the forklift at the stores. So I'm jealous. That makes me jealous of Bryce, but great job, Bryce. So as we close here today, I want to leave you with this thought. Recovery is not the absence of struggle, it's the presence of purpose, and employment gives that purpose shape. A paycheck may keep the lights on, but a job, meaningful work, lights the soul. It restores belonging, it rebuilds confidence, and it reconnects people to the world. Every person deserves a chance to work, to contribute, and to grow. When we believe that and act on it, we harvest the hope that this conference stands for. So I want to thank you all for letting us be a part of this conversation today. I appreciate the work that each and every one of you do, not only in your personal goals, in your struggles to overcome those struggles, but providers for the work that you do to help people each and every day. And I want to thank these 3 amazing people up here today. I just hope that we can inspire somebody and get somebody to take that chance to go back to work. So thank you very much.
All right, everybody, so we have some time. 2:30 is the next presentation.